character here. Problem. I don't have problem. I got fucking problems, plural.
Welcome to Say Go, guys. We'll be doing a review on Four Rooms. Early Tarantino, as I'm told, as I've heard.
Yeah.
One of the writers, yeah.
He's got a slice of the pie.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Who else? Robert Rodriguez, a couple other people I can't remember off the top.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's been on my list for a long time. Obviously, the Tarantino was the hook of it all for me. But I kind of knew it was like four separate stories, so I knew what I was getting into. Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious what you guys thought. I'm sure we're going to have varying opinions. They might fall in line with quality tier.
Yeah.
This is a perfect concept, in my opinion. Like, the idea of just a bellhop, and he's
like worst day on the job.
He's the only guy on the shift, you know. It's just a fucking sweet concept. All the stories that you can have. That, like, one of our buddies in college, you know, his parents owned a hotel service, and the stuff he'd find in rooms, you know, it's kind of bizarre, you know, the stories behind those things. It's just, I don't know, this is a sweet concept, and I really thought it was cool, you know.
Yeah, it seems almost like it was like a writing exercise for them, like to make like it's like everyone's gonna have a different room. What are you gonna write about, you know, type of thing, right. Like, and I was curious about how it all kind of came to be, because like there's a couple threads in each of them for like tracing back to the other ones. So I was like wondering like what order, or if they just like gave each other one line that they knew was like gonna have to like do with a lot of the story, and then like they put that into their specific room, you know, and then took it. I don't know. It was interesting to watch on that perspective for me, as like how did they communicate like their ideas to each other and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. You want to just like go through them one by one? What's the
what's your take? No.
Just,
like what, like my level of enjoyment, or just
your initial take?
Yeah, I liked it a lot, actually. I mean, I think I like anthologies like as a setup, as like as a structure for a lot of things.
Yeah,
because it opens up to like, oh man, you get a little piece of this, a little piece of that, and then sometimes it's all comes together.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could definitely see it being like an exercise. It comes across like it is kind of like an exercise and stuff like that. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did, because I was like, I don't know, older Tarantino might be like, start of his writing maybe not so good, or their writing, these people's styles kind of starting off. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. So
nice. All right,
cool.
Let's run through them.
Cool. Yeah. So the first one, the missing ingredient. I mean, this one did a lot of
yeah.
It was hard to like. I don't even know how to like go about this one, because it was hard to like get through, but it was also like it didn't do a lot of goodwill for the movie starting it with this one.
You don't think?
I thought it was like I thought it eased it in. It wasn't like, obviously I don't think it was like the best of them.
Yeah, I did.
It's probably the worst of them.
After I watched it and I started the second one, I was like, I kind of get why they needed that first one, you know.
Yeah.
So I do. Yeah. I kind of understand what you're saying, like ease it in. It was like kooky and zany, and it eased you into the room.
The sauce.
Yeah, right. Immediately I had like a big old 90s feel. Obviously this movie's gonna feel like that, but it felt really indie right off the bat to me, especially these earlier ones where they're mostly just indie directors. I mean, if you look at their filmography, they haven't really done much since or after, before or after. So for these first two, they really feel indie, and kind of like the filmmaker hasn't found their footing yet. For me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that first one was a bit, I don't know if jarring's the right word, because I did find some level of enjoyment out of it, you know? It was kind of like,
this
titties,
is
right? Interesting.
This is
titties and jism. Yeah, no, it was like, I don't know, it was just an interesting, far out there. They really sent it on this one, you know? Like, out of all the things you would think that would happen in a room,
witchcraft.
Some,
yeah, right.
What is it? I don't know, gaggle or whatever, a witch's
coven.
A
coven,
yeah. Coven, there we go, of witches.
The oven of witches.
Yeah, so, I just thought that was an interesting, something I wouldn't ever even consider happening in a hotel room, you know. But that was pretty cool. It was fun, you know. It was a fun concept. Whether or not it was executed,
yeah,
wasn't perfect by any means, for sure.
Yeah, but it was a cool concept. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. The second one, oh, sorry, I won't step on the progress we're making.
No, I mean there wasn't really much to say about the first one except like extremely feminine energy. And then I guess when getting into the second one, this was like one of the most like horny movies I've watched in a very long time. Just in general.
Those two, I was like, after those two, I was like, oh, so we're just in a ride. Like I was like, expecting the next two to be like, all right, so we're just in a ride of like weird. And we got little feet in the third one, but I mean, you know, like, so I was like ready for that. And then the second two came, and I was like, and those struck me as being pretty awesome. So.
Yeah, the first one, just I felt a lot of the dead air and a lot of the awkward pacing. That's kind of where I landed on. I was like,
good thing they didn't end on that one. So
there's no way.
Like,
you gotta start. You gotta ease in and then level.
Not to jump ahead, but Tarantino said it himself in the fucking movie. I'm the closer, you know. So.
Yeah, always be fucking closer.
Yeah, we can move into the second one. The Wrong Man. I mean, what you guys honestly?
I didn't mind that one after finishing that. You know, I like went back and I was like, you know, first one wacky, that one not that bad. Like, I don't know, very off the wall and strange, but as crazy as the first one. No,
I thought it was very refreshing to just walk in the room and get the gun pulled because it took you out of what you just watched in a nice way. I was like, okay, let's go. We're into something here. And then I might have liked the first one more, honestly, after watching this one. Because, like, it devolved into, like, meandering pointlessness. I don't know. Maybe I'm giving it too much, like, shit. But, like, just some of the things, like I didn't even understand the situation for half of it. I was like, what the fuck is going on first? Like,
whoa, they're exciting their bedroom life. What are you talking about?
I guess, but
a little bit of role play.
The way he's like commanding Ted, I'm just like about like sleeping with a dude or something like that. I'm just like, wait, like what is the joke here, or like what is the movement here, or like maybe I was just not reading into it correctly.
But no, I didn't like this one either. So
no,
the moment that landed for me, I was like, what the fuck? Like, why? Was like, it's like Ted giving like a heroic speech about like not being called Theodore, and then like the dude just kisses him after, and I'm just like, what are we doing? Like, I don't know. This one was very, like, I just imagine the writers like pitching a fun idea that they just wanted to write in a room, and then they get into the writing, and this one was just kind of like,
it's like they didn't know where to end with this one. You know, it felt like it was just kind of treading water. I mean, it had that cool shot though, where he's sticking halfway out the window.
Fantastic shot, great shot. Yeah. The lighting on both sides was spot on.
Yeah. And the guy looking down at him, eyes.
Just pukes on him.
But
I guess like I was like, I felt the horniness in this scene with like all the dick names and shit. I was like, dude, you're just like, I don't know. It's like it just seems so outside of reality that it wasn't fun.
That one, funny the way that one ends with like the other dude walking in and then him basically like just starting from the first lines. Yeah, I was like, that one for sure feels like that someone was given a line to like make a point of getting in or like starting the scene, and then that's what they chose to end on as well. Maybe try and bookend it, but yeah, that one I feel like you're meandering for sure. There's like, I don't know, maybe like a 5-minute interval, 5 to 10, like where it's just like, you're like, where the fuck is this going? Where is this gonna end? Like,
I'll say we haven't talked about Tim Roth yet. Let's give it up to Tim Roth.
Dude,
that guy was he was doing like the number of movements like per second that Tim Roth was doing in this movie
what the fuck?
Like astounding.
Dude, he sent it.
It was full send. Full send.
Like the weird, like
from the animated intro, he was straight into it.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
He was that guy.
Sometimes a little over the top for me. Sometimes perfect. Sometimes under. It was like, it's everywhere. Like,
coming in and out of like the British accent. Right? So, you know, it's just like, what? Like, what is that?
I had a question. Is this his first night on the job though?
That's what I don't know.
He like he gets handed the hat at the beginning by the other caretaker. So I was like, if this is his first night on the job and he's acting like this is crazy. But I don't know. Maybe that just added to the fun of it. Yeah, I mean, I do. I don't know. The first one at least is like more memorable to me. Maybe it's just the titties, but like, it's just more fun than this one. But
yeah, no, I agree. I think the first one, like I said, it was just such an interesting idea of what's happening in a room that you would never like. Again, I wouldn't guess this one, but I didn't really like this one, so it's not as compelling, not as interesting. It just felt like it started out strong, and I was like, okay, like you said, you were like, yeah, let's go, and then it just treaded water for the rest of it because it didn't really know what to do and how to get him out of the situation, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, the first one was definitely more compelling, whether it was the titties or the jism or, you know.
It's one of them though.
Yeah, one of them.
Yeah.
One of those sweet.
But you want to get on to the misbehaviors then? Number 3.
Don't.
This is where it kicks it into gear. Robert Rodriguez. I'm really appreciating some of his work. Not all of it, but some of it. Like I mentioned to you earlier, you know, I just recently watched Planet Terror, so seeing this one, you know, right out the gates, I was just kind of like, all right, Rodriguez.
Yeah.
I think I like this guy.
Instantly, I was like, man, I got to watch more Rodriguez stuff. Like, and the short hadn't even like happened yet, but I was like, man, I got to get back. I got to watch like El Mariachi. And like Once Upon a Time in Mexico, like his like early stuff,
Desperado or Despero or whatever.
Desperado is the only one I've seen of his, and yeah, that one's pretty wild.
Yeah, I gotta get around to that, but yeah, this one is like a saving grace for me of the movie. It was like, I mean, I don't know what you felt. I think this one was my favorite one personally.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard between this one and the last one, just because where the last one ends up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think this one just injected so much energy, obviously, into the movie, but also it like held its own in its own way too, of like the story it was going for.
Yeah.
And I just thought, like, compared to the last two, where those situations are totally nothing you'll ever see in any reality, this one is like just like dealing with like family themes that you can like understand at least. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just like it made me like actually able to understand the characters and where I'm fucking at, you know, like,
right.
So it was just nice.
And it was nice that this one finally made him, you know, crack there at the end where he calls in, I forget her name. We'll just call her Debbie or whatever. And, you know, seeing the dead hooker and all that stuff was almost the breaking point where he almost, you know, threw in the towel.
It gets so crazy. This like it like crescendos. Perfectly towards the end.
Yeah.
First off, did you guys notice the red apple cigarettes right away?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh no, I did not. Yeah.
Right off the bat, notice those.
And when the band apart, Mr. Orange coming out, turned into the animated boy, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know? Little cool thing.
One moment I had was he has like an extended scene of like a minute with him like teaching his son how to comb his hair in the right way. And have you guys seen Spy Kids? Because I'm pretty sure he reuses that scene like verbatim almost for Spy Kids.
It reminded me exactly
of Rodriguez, right?
Yeah.
Spy Kids, yeah.
So maybe it's either it's like lazily reused or kind of just like rehashed, or it's like an homage to this movie.
Yeah, maybe.
But, I just like was like, man, I've seen this scene before, like in Spy Kids. Yeah.
Antonio Banderas was awesome in this as well, I thought. I don't know. I just really liked like that end scene when he's looking around, there's fire, the dead hooker, you know, he's holding on to it. He's like, have they been behaving or whatever he said?
Yeah.
Misbehaving?
That's perfect.
That's a fantastic line, dude. Perfect ending too. Because like you're wondering like, is he gonna kill the bellhop or whatever? Obviously, he's like, is he gonna blame him? And then it's just all around to like, because I mean, to me, the filmmaking shined in this too, in a way of like this guy you can tell is like somewhat established or confident than the other two. And the big moment of that was just like some fun, like when it's on Antonio Banderas and it's like a close up, and it's like an evil face, and he's like, behave.
Yeah.
And he's like, yes, Papa. Like it's just like way more confident and like going for stuff. I mean, the other stuff they're trying to go for stuff, but this one like knows that stuff will land. You know?
Yeah, you can tell the directors are more, like you said, confident just by the way, and that's what one of my big things was like with the last one. You could just tell he has a better grasp on even Tim Roth's character.
Yeah.
He just they really know how to reel him in and feel out his character more than in the first two. Like you said, a little over the top sometimes with his movements, but they really knew how to control it and reel it in with these last two segments. I thought
for sure,
so
100%.
Yeah.
And I thought that the writing was, you can just tell that it's so much better in this one. Like some of the lines, like you kids are getting expensive, when he has to like up it to $500 or whatever. It's just like a hilarious line. I don't know, like it's just like a lot of it was landing for me just in general for this one.
Yeah, for sure. This is definitely where it turns up, and becomes a good movie, rather than just
tries to, like, it does like the girl phone calls asking for needles, which was like part of that. Like, it does a little work to try and draw the other one in. So that's where it got me. I was like, oh, so are these just like they're all happening at the same time, or it's whatever. But there's some cool stuff here.
Pretty good.
Yeah, the smell my foot sequence though. I was like, man, is he hanging out with Tarantino too much? This is around that time. Everybody's like, it's in the movie.
They're like two nuts in a ball sack during this time period, aren't they? I mean, they help produce each other's shit and stuff, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know. So maybe the feet rubbed off on him, man.
Hey, because don't sleep on feet. That's all I'm saying. All right. There's a crowd for it. Not saying it's me. Don't sleep on them.
This one had one of my favorite moments with Tim Roth's character in particular too, with him like yelling into the phone at the kids about like what does he say? He's like, he says there's a dead body. He's like, there's not a fucking dead body because you have that shit on your eyes. Like,
oh, you wiped it off?
Yeah.
Like, you never thought to do that?
Yeah, he was like so angry and so heightened in that moment, and it was making me laugh. And then it just gets so zany too, like it's just trying to have fun, like with like him like slapping all the cigarettes out of the kid's mouth, like he turns around, the kid, and another one's there, and then
cracking up that shit.
And then when you see the hooker's body, and then it's like an instant cut, and he's like puking out of his mouth, like it's just that shit was perfect, and that's just like smart editing and smart like pacing and writing, like.
No, it was definitely, and that's what I feel like, what I really appreciated about like Planet Terror. It's like so I watched that and then I watched this, so it's like he was kind of dipping his toes into it, because Planet Terror just full sends it in terms of like making me laugh and things that in a normal movie I would think is just ridiculous, but in this movie it's acceptable, like a scene from Planet Terror, he tells this girl get on the back of his motorcycle, and she gets on, he's like, the other way, and she like gets off and sits on his lap, straddles him facing backwards. He's like, the other way, and she gets off and sits on the motorcycle backwards so she can shoot backwards. I don't know. It was just that was just like any normal movie, it would just be, this is stupid. Why are they doing this? But in that one, it made sense. So with this stuff, it made me appreciate this more, I think. So nice. I really like what Rodriguez is doing. So.
Yeah, man, he's just a guy who's there to have fun and make a fun movie.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Sure. So. That was fun.
Any final comments on the misbehaviors?
No, I think this one was my favorite one as well.
Me too.
Close for the last one, but this was probably.
Yeah, I think so. It was like the most well-rounded short for me too. Like,
I think the way the last one ended really brought it home for me as being my favorite. So. He fucking closed. What can I say?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into the reason we all watched this movie. The man from Hollywood himself, Mr. Tarantino. I mean, this was a hilarious, fun short, man, for me.
Yeah. Man, Bruce Willis like bringing the comedy, bringing his end.
I treat her like a queen, man.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell that was him. Until he
at
like
first I did not
even
realize it. Yeah, same.
But you can tell, like, I think it switches over to Tarantino before his short in theory begins, because
when he starts talking,
he's on the phone. It's like, wow, this is it's just like a people in a room like getting high. I'm like, this is Tarantino. Like, I was like wondering. I was like, did I miss the title? I was like, I'm pretty sure this is Tarantino, and like. It's got to be, because you can just feel it change,
Even Tim Roth's character, like I mentioned earlier, it just you can tell he reeled it in, and he became like when he said, I don't have problem, I have problems, plural, you know? And I was like, okay, Tarantino's back. He's behind the camera right now, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So it's I mean, it's crazy. Like that man just knows his style, and you can feel it. You can literally feel it. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. Down to the dialogue. I mean, those oneers that he was doing through the whole thing. I mean, that was sweet.
Well, yeah, you can tell it's Tarantino when one of his characters just randomly goes off on like a Hollywood montage or a monologue. Like he's just like, it's basically him just filtering his insane fandom through his character or whatever. I think it's Kathy Griffin, the one that like set it off for me, as like this like person in the house is just spewing Hollywood lore or whatever. Yeah, I thought it was like bold of him too. I mean, this is like the most I've seen him act, I want to say, and I mean, he put himself into some very long scenes knowingly, long takes.
I mean,
this is probably the best I've seen him.
Yeah. Really, you don't like him as Jimmy?
Jimmy
in Pulp Fiction?
He's good, and I will say he's pretty good in that. That was the only one that I thought like. I mean, that's his other major role probably, but
yeah. I would say this is my second favorite of him, but he really sent it too. Like I said, when the right directors were behind the camera, they really knew what they were doing. So, and I really liked Tarantino in this. When I saw him, I was like, is he going to be the main, you know? Because I heard Bruce Willis was in it, because there was a big thing where he couldn't be credited because they had to sue him because he didn't. It was a favor for Tarantino while he was in the movie, you know? So I was like, is Bruce Willis going to be the main guy? But it was Tarantino. So that was kind of a surprise, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah. A lot of it too for me, like this is right like after Pulp Fiction, so he's people know him. You know, he's like still I would say kind of at like an amateur status type of thing. Yeah. So a lot of it for me felt like he was like just kind of bitching about like his up and coming status in this kind, or like the Hollywood guy who's like fucking nailing it, and you know like he's in that crowd now, and he's kind of making fun of it all and the after party type of shit.
Right.
So I kind of felt his like time here too, but
yeah.
Back to that,
like I said, so what made this my favorite was the end, you know. I mean, what would you guys do? Would you turn down the money and leave, or would you cut off the fucking pinky?
Oh, dude, cut off the fucking he poses it just right. It's like, why would you say no to making $1,000 tonight, and then
to cutting off a guy's finger that he agreed to get cut off? You don't know the guy, you have no connection, no emotional connection. Shit,
I get to walk away with no
hand off.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, Tarantino bitched it perfectly. I mean, that was one of the best scenes in the movie, if not the best scene. Was him like
them like fumbling at the end in the credits too, like fucking dropping like going through the hallway and dropping the ice and shit like that.
It was just great.
So perfect too, because like as soon as he lights it, it doesn't light, and it just cuts straight to him taking the money, and he's out. You know, that was. So he fucking closed for me. So that's what made that one my favorite. Just that end where he's like, "Hang on, you know." Why leave when you could just listen to me for a minute and make $100?
Yeah, I'd laughed out loud, so loud when he was like, Tim Roth just like bolts out. He's like, I can get out of here, and then Tarantino's literally just says, "Money."
Yeah. He just like does a little kick,
and he's like a puppet. He like and then it goes to that money scene, which was just fucking glorious, and the way it ends too, it's just like the slow build of like the pitch, and like he's gonna close, he's gonna get him, and then it's like, okay, right away. It's just perfect, man.
So good, such good writing.
Yeah. And this one too, I had a moment where I was like, man, I mean, first off, Bruce Willis, fantastic in this, dude. He killed
definitely,
and it makes me like sad because we know like where he's at now, but he was phenomenal back in the day, and he embodied something that not a lot of people had, I would say, that he can do, you know. But I just thought like his reveal, the build up to his explosion out of the room, and like the blocking by the camera, it was all smart. It was all very long takes and moving around the room, but just like staying outside the room and letting Bruce Willis come to us, like, and then like move around with him, just really smart. And
it's kind of sad we can't get much. Well, we won't be getting any more, you know, good Bruce Willis stuff, because like you said, he was great in this, and I just rewatched Pulp Fiction, and like he's great in that too.
Kills it,
you know.
And
it's just sad.
Yeah,
he was got like his start comedy, right? Like that's like he was on some like
sitcoms
or something.
Yeah, he was on Friends.
Yeah. Well, really?
Man.
Yeah. It's like, I guess went into the action star stuff, but
can still do it. Still got the chops. But he was like nailing the drunk. Like I was like, man, are you drunk, dude? Because it was like some of the best drunk acting I've ever seen.
Even when he wasn't saying anything, he's like sitting there like zoned out, or like fucking
he's telling the story for sure. Yeah. But I think like the last thing I really have to say is I just like felt the love of Tarantino, but also just in like this short, it's a moment when Bruce Willis's going on like kind of a monologue about like a Hitchcock episode or something towards the end, and you see like Tarantino like drunkenly acting like rest his head on like Bruce Willis's shoulder, and I was like, I feel like the love transferring from Tarantino to Bruce Willis right now on screen, like because like you could, I think Tarantino like could feel him nailing the dialogue that he wrote and the drunkenness of it, and like he could feel it was this take. I was like, at that moment, I was just like, I feel like I just witnessed something magical, weirdly.
Yeah. Hold on.
So
cool.
But that so that one great ending, and it made this movie worth it to watch for me. You know.
Definitely. And I kept expecting, I don't know the guy's name as an actor, his friend in there that got his pinky chopped off. I kept expecting, my name's Paul and this is between y'all, but I didn't get that line, unfortunately. I don't know when Bruce Willis comes out and starts talking about his girlfriend, but
gotcha.
But
I think I don't know if you want to do ratings. I don't know. I haven't rated this one yet. I would land somewhere in 3 and 3.5.
I landed at 3.5.
3.5.
No, 3.
Yeah, I was at 3.5.
Yeah. It's mid tier, but like, it's unfortunate too because if it was only the last 2 shorts, it could be 4 stars. I don't know.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
that's
just
what
call
I thought.
it 2 rooms.
Yeah.
Just cut out the first 40 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Nah, I mean, it's cool too to see like clearly like it was an experiment in '95 to bring in some filmmakers together and write something of this caliber, so each of them at different stages of their career, so it's cool. It's cool to watch that too.
Definitely.
For
You
sure.
gotta get me some fucking Cristal too, man.
Cristal. Not champagne. It's Cristal.
Fucking Cristal. Everything else is piss.
This wasn't your favorite though, huh? You like the second to last more, huh?
I think, like I said, it's just the third one is, as far as like a short goes, it's like the most well-rounded. Like it encapsulated an idea of like the theme of like your parents leave and misbehave. Like it took the room into it. I mean, the last one did too. It's like a Hollywood party ending in that hotel.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're both real. They're both there. It's just,
like,
I think,
almost equal.
taste.
Yeah, that's what I was like. They're very they're equal in my terms of quality and like the story they're getting across. I think
for sure.
They both, like you guys said,
they're definitely neck and neck. I was just, I don't know.
Yeah. No, yeah. Fucking, I do like like when he gets everything on the cart and he's just like got it all, wooden board and it's like club sandwich, like,
donut. That's for me. Instantly.
Yeah.
What did he say? A machete? No.
A hatchet.
A hatchet. I said a hatchet as sharp as the devil himself. Let me see that.
The Norm is that sharp?
Motherfucker sharp.
Yeah. So much fun, man.
And then Bruce Willis freak out, throwing that cart later. What does punctuality have to do with love, man? Like,
I treat her like a queen. Definitely gotta get around to Tarantino's last few movies I haven't seen, but it's like
man.
This little taste here. It's like I don't want it to ever end, so I gotta keep something in the horizon.
Well, you got one more. He's got to be working on his last one here pretty soon.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, the magic lives on.
Yeah, but thanks for listening, guys. Join us for another movie chest. Probably be a completely different movie than this one, but that's what it's all about. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Knocking down that watch list one movie at a time, good or bad.
Right.
Yep.
All right. Stay cool, guys.
Stay gold.